joining us. We'll start with the opening statement from head coach Brent Brennan, then we'll take questions.
Good to see everybody. It's an exciting time of year. Obviously, going to the first game, a little over 48 hours out. Just our first opportunity as a football program, our first opportunity as a city, as a university to own the night. We've been talking about that all off season. I think that's a really, really important thing. Just when we talk about what we want game day environment to be here, what we want the atmosphere to be like. I know that our administration has been incredibly diligent. I know a lot of you had a chance to taste the new food and kind of what they're stepping into in terms of what they're providing our fans in terms of food options on game day. I think that's an important part of it. I also think when we think about the Polynesian Heritage Night, what that's going to be, the performances, just how important that is in terms of our program and the history of both of these universities, but also the history of the University of Arizona and their legacy with Coach Tomey and just so many Polynesian players being impactful here over the years. This is a great opportunity. It's going to be a great night here in Arizona Stadium. I'm really excited for our fans. I'm excited for the students to show up. And I think that there's a really important thing that I think the city of Tucson, our university, our alumni, our fans need to know is that we cannot do it without you. We cannot do it without you. Every team that kicks ass on Saturdays in the fall has a great fan base that shows up and impacts the outcome of the game. Everywhere. Look across the country. Where are the toughest places to win? What do those records look like at the end of the year? I promise you they're positive. And we can create that same atmosphere here at the University of Arizona if we will own the night. And that starts on Saturday. And I can't wait to see what this team does. Here we go.
Thank you, Coach. We'll start with Justin and then Troy.
So you have two honorary captains this week in Tyler Luke and Big Jonah. What does that honor mean to you to see them come back, and how do you reflect on their time at Arizona?
I think it's really special. Sorry. I think it's really special that those guys want to come back. I think it speaks to the experience they had at the University of Arizona. I think it's important when your football alumni comes back just to re-engage with the fans. And, obviously both of those guys, all three guys that are coming back for this game, like they've all had, pretty good start to their NFL careers, right? And so I think that's something that's really special. I'm excited to see all of them, and I think our players will be too, and I think our fans will be. So I think it's pretty special that they want to come back, that they want to engage, and I think it's fun for us also as a program to honor them as honorary captains.
And then last year, you were given a leg by T-Mac's grandmother, and has anybody else taken that responsibility this year? And what does it mean to you to be honored in that way?
No, not yet. But some of those things are sometimes game day decisions by parents and grandparents. For me, it's an incredible honor, and I know it was something that was a little bit of a lightning rod with our fan base. But I felt like I was in a position. Anytime someone of that culture honors me with giving me a lei, it is humbling, and it is to know that I am loved and appreciated or thought highly enough for them to take the time to do that, I think is really, really special. And so I never wanted to disrespect that. And that's why that was an important thing for me.
Troy and then David.
In terms of team captains, do you expect that maybe to be released soon? Are you guys rolling with the usual team captain method or this season? Yeah,
so I can tell you right now for sure for this one, the first group going out there will be Noah, Trey, and Genesis. And then there'll be a player to be named later that'll be added to that group.
David and then Brian.
Coach, just looking at Hawaii on the offensive side, tremendous receiver and Kofele Ashlock. What do you see in him?
Well, I think that they've done a really good job, in what they do. And I know that's something that, Timmy's been working on, getting back to his roots of more run and shoot, kind of thoughts in terms of what they want to do schematically. But the receivers are explosive, you know what I mean? And that scheme, lends itself to that kind of performance. And I think when you combine that with how well their quarterback's playing, how tough he is, I think they become really difficult to defend.
And a pretty good defensive man on the opposite side, and Dennis Thurman that's kind of rolling with them. What's that scheme like, that 4-2-5, and what type of problems does that present for you?
Well, I think when you watch them play, they play extremely hard, and I think that's something that has kind of been historically true about good Hawaii teams. They've got good players in the secondary. I talked about both the corners. The one's coming back from an Achilles, but looks like a really good player on film. And the safety to me is kind of he's the straw that sort of stirs the drink for them a little bit. He's an emotional leader. He's a hitter. He's a tackler. And so, when you combine that, it looks like they've got some good leadership, and then they had a couple good transfers they plugged in the defensive line. So, it's going to be a challenge for us. But I think when you're playing on this level, like every team that you play presents challenges, right? And so our job is to find ways to minimize those, or find ways to, create the matchups that we need for the opportunities we want to take advantage of.
Brian and then Jason.
So, not doing the injury reports yet until it gets into Big 12 play, but do you know is there anyone that you don't intend on having available either for this game or that has maybe been ruled out for the season?
For the season? That's a really good question. For the season, I don't know who that would be right now. I think a couple of those guys are still recovering from surgeries that they had in the off season. So Rhino, is making his way back, but he's not all the way back. But I'm trying to think if there's anybody for the season. I don't think we have anybody for the season yet. But I think the reporting thing is going to be good. I think people are going to. I think it'll give people some clarity, and I know it's a big topic of conversation in the media. And then especially with the fans. So I think it'll be a good thing when we get into it. But in the space where we don't have to yet, we're not going to.
Mm-hmm.
Jason and then Justin.
2 questions. You guys have the camera, obviously. Other teams in the conference have guys that once played, your opponents, whatever. Is there any, not only specific to you, but in general, do you think, is there any sitting those guys down and discussing calls or stuff like that, or is that stuff kind of changed year over year?
Like, I think when that happens, because it happens to all of us, you know what I mean, where you have players that played for your program the year before that go and, get paid more money or take another opportunity somewhere else. So I think everybody changes all their calls and all their stuff, as they go. And because rosters change over so much, there's not a ton of carryover personnel-wise year in and year out with who you're playing against. I mean, there's some, but not a ton. So I think you guys mentioned it last time I was here. We were just looking at the depth chart that we put out, just how many new players or first-year players in the program are on the depth chart. So I think that changes. I think having been through this with players before, like going and playing against the team that they played for, I think the biggest thing for KD and for our players is to just play good football and do their job. You know what I mean? Do their job. We don't need anybody to be Superman. We just need people to do their job and do it with red line.
And then throughout practice, throughout camp, it's more of a wide range of things you guys focus on. I assume it's a lot more narrow this week. How do you think the team has responded to kind of the narrow?
I think we've had a great week of practice. And I think as the game plan tightens up, obviously we still have to practice tonight, but I think as the game plan tightens up and guys get really comfortable and settle in, I'm excited to see practice tonight. Right? We're going to be in the stadium. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be under the lights. I'm excited to be playing in the arena and the surface that we're going to play on, in a couple days. And so I think it's going to be really beneficial for them.
Justin and then David.
How would you compare the experience or the feeling you had in the season opener last year compared to this year?
Well, that's a good question. I think in both situations I was really excited. Like, I'm really excited. I think this team, we know the players better. We've spent more time with them. We feel like our culture is like more ingrained. Guys have a much better understanding of red line, much better understanding of what our expectations are for them. And I think that part feels better. You know what I mean? So I think it definitely feels, more comfortable. We're more used to it. We know how game day looks like. We know where we're going to stay. The operation of it obviously feels more comfortable, but I'm excited to see our team play.
David.
Taking T-Mac out of the picture, Coach, you mentioned obviously the celebration of Polynesian culture. Who's the best Polynesian player that you played with and the best Polynesian player you've coached?
Oh, that's a good question. I know the best Polynesian player I've coached, taking T-Mac out of the equation, and his name is Junior Fehoko. And he was a defensive end at San Jose State. He was an all conference. He was the Mountain West defensive player of the year. He was a 4th round draft pick. He was unbelievable. Best Polynesian player that I played with. That's a good question. Trying to think. It was probably a guy named, I'm guessing, I think it's Saleh Asaya, who I played with at UCLA. Great guy, big, just huge mountain of a man, big smile, big heart. He sadly passed away a couple years ago, but just a great human being. He played defensive line for us there, but then when he got to the NFL, they made him an offensive lineman. So I think he's probably the best one I played with. Maybe him or Arnold Ale. Arnold was older than me, so I was only with him for a year, but he was like a defensive end, outside linebacker guy. He was a badass. Like he tried to rip your head off on a scout team, you know. But yeah, so those would be the two that come to mind quickly. That's a great question. Thank you. Those are good memories for me. Getting my head ripped off by Arnold Ale as a 165-pound freshman in college.
Justin?
So every coach has their own kind of recipe to success. What was Dick Tomey's recipe in your opinion?
Wow. God, that's a 3-hour conversation. There were so many things about Coach Tomey. I think what Coach Tomey did best is he really had an uncanny ability to really kind of reach into every player's soul and get the most out of them. Like he was really fantastic at building connection. And I thought his teams always played so hard, whether I was playing against him or I was coaching for him. I just thought that was always like something that he was really, really unique at. He was a guy that would keep it simple, and his keys to victory are probably just burned into every former, Wildcat or Rainbow Warrior or San Jose State Spartan that ever played for him. But I think that was really, like, he was great at keeping it simple and getting the best out of the people that played for him and the people that worked for him.
And then the battles between San Jose State and Hawaii, was it the Dick Tomey Bowl, or what was like kind of the?
We played for the Dick Tomey Trophy,
okay,
which was a really cool thing. It started our second year there, and so it was a trophy that traveled with the winner, that went back and forth, and it was really a special thing. I think because of his history, and also those teams being in the conference, they played each other every year, which was a great part of it, And so the trophy was going to trade hands every year, you know what I mean, with conference realignment and shuffling to those conferences. Now, I don't think they play every year. I think it's kind of, which is too bad because it was a cool thing.
Brian?
Well, on that note, could you ever see an opportunity to do something like that between Arizona and Hawaii? I know you won't play every year.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, is that like schedules are done so far in advance. I think that they come back on the schedule. I think we go out there in 2 years. Is that right?
29.
29. Okay, so longer than that. So I think that's a little bit of the problem. Like I think those trophies are cool and everyone has fun with them, and I think they're neat things. And because we had one also with Fresno, which was a cool thing. Obviously, we have the one we have the Territorial Cup, which is awesome. So I think those things are fun, but I think they need to be in conference for them to. The thing needs to change hands every year, or it needs to be played for every year. It's a better way to say it.
We'll finish up with Justin.
And what did that mean the first time that you had won the Dick Tomey Trophy?
It was special for me. The first time we played for it, we lost. We lost in a 42-40 game. There was not a single punt. Correct, Ben?
Correct.
Have you ever been in a game like that? Not a single punt. It was crazy. It was like it was special for me because like Coach was such a special guy to me. The cool part about it was when Coach Rolovich was at Hawaii, Coach Tomey was also special to him. Coach Tomey had also been impactful for Nick's life in his coaching career because he was someone that talked, and when Nick became the head coach there, Coach Tomey was still alive, and so he was someone that that he could lean on. So that made it special. And then but just I think the trophy was really cool, and it felt good because we were able to get it and hold on to it for a while.
And of course, you know.
And you saw it every day. You know, you go in the facility,
Okay.
you saw it every day. So that was like that was awesome. So you're always, you know, that last thing, we were always trying to, like, we wanted that. We wanted the Valley Trophy, which was Fresno versus San Jose. And then you wanted to win the Mountain West, you know. So if you could do those things, and you feel like you had a good year.
In addition to winning on Saturday, what would a successful night look for you?
I'm excited to see us play. We haven't played for a year. We have lots of new players. We have 3 new coordinators. Like, there's so many new pieces to how our team is built. But I think we've done a great job with, like, how they've attacked the work and how they've attacked their preparation. Now it'll be played out on Saturday, and we'll see what it looks like. We're going to have to make adjustments in game, halftime, and whatever it takes. But I'm excited to see us play. And so I'm excited to see how Noah looks, you know, in this new Arizona offense and how that feels. I'm excited to see the impact of the new players that we brought in at, like, every position. You know what I mean? If you look at every position, like, there's new players at every position, right? And so, and a lot of those guys are going to play. I'm excited to see what the kicking game looks like. You know, what kind of attention to detail, what kind of effort. Like, is the red line on tape? Can you see it? That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? When I turn on that film and there's no audio and I'm just looking at a screen, can I see the red line?
Awesome. Thank